Welcome to episode number 29. On today's show, stepping outside the comfort zone, making moves, and following your gut.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A car salesman.
Said no one ever.
Hi, I'm Patrick Hennessy.
And I'm Courtney Hennessy.
Welcome to the Be Less Typical in Car Sales podcast, a real-life account of the car business that breaks the perception of what it's like to be a car sales professional. During the show, we're going to take you into the lives and minds of those who have found success. So ignite your passion and get ready to learn effective hacks to streamline your success and boost your income.
So, is that your pitch?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
We're picking up our life. We're trimming the fat. We're going to pack it all up and road trip down to Florida.
We are. If you're a regular to the Be Less Typical show, you might find yourself thinking, am I listening to the right show? Don't worry, you're in the right spot. However, today's show is going to be a little different than the norm. We're going to give you a look into what's been happening in our lives recently.
So the quote that rings through my mind quite a bit is, don't be afraid to give up the good for the great.
And interestingly enough, this message has been popping up in more than one place. For me, it started with a quote I saw from Bill Murray. It said, "Life is so damn short. For goodness sake," except to use the F word, "just do what makes you happy." Then, not too long after that, I watched a Periscope with Grant Cardone. He's standing on a balcony in Miami Beach overlooking the ocean. And his message was something to the effect of, you have a choice in what you do, who you are, where you live, and what you become. Message received.
So, giving up the good for the great. And I truly feel like that Courtney and I both are in a place in our life where we are very comfortable. We've got good jobs. We've got good people around us. We've got a nice home in a nice town in a nice state. And we might blink and we'd be 50, 60 years old. God willing, have a couple kids in between. But I think we both have something in the back of our minds that's just itching at us, that there's something we haven't turned over yet, and we're going to force those cards onto the table. That's kind of how I feel, is that if it isn't going to just show itself here, we're gonna shake it up. And I think that's part of the reason why I want to make the decision to let's roll, let's take a risk, let's take an adventure and shake it up. So
this coming from the man that loves having a schedule and everything the same. He orders the same food off of the menu at the restaurant. And so to hear Patrick say this is nothing less than inspirational, and makes me extremely motivated to actually move and take this risk as well. So we're moving to St. Petersburg, Florida. We're giving up the good in search of the great. And it's a little risky because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. We know that. But have you ever just had that feeling in your gut? Like something is just meant to be? Well, we have that feeling.
I have learned from a number of our guests on the show that I'm super grateful for, is that we have learned how to make our circle grow. Because we live in a tight-knit group, the car business especially. We work in a community here that people know everybody, but you really have your only, this tight-knit circle, and that's all we communicate with. So our circle has grown because of the show, and hopefully it's serving the purpose of helping other people's circles grow. And we've gotten good feedback on that. But we, for the first time, really experienced it when we took the trip down. We wanted to check out Tampa to see if that was an area that we might want to live. So we went down on a covert mission and met with Dave Villa and his team just to say hi, check out their studio for Auto Dealer Live. And, a day and a half later, we met Victor Montoya, who was a previous guest on this show, and his wife and baby, and had a nice breakfast with them. And I think it just really opened our eyes that there's a lot more world outside of the world we've circled ourselves in up here. So we want to live what we're preaching, and sometimes the comfort zone needs to be broken. And I'm not really sure what's next. I just have a feeling that we're going to do all right.
Agreed. Adventure awaits, but it wasn't the easiest decision to make. We're leaving our family, our work families, and Patrick's leaving his job, a job he really likes, with a boss who's not only a mentor, but a friend.
You know, the hardest thing about us leaving is me leaving the position I have with the automotive group I work for. You know, it's been almost 6 years I've worked there, and I've built countless wonderful relationships with people that I will have forever. And they've really helped me mature in my career. And that was tough to let go. But needless to say, I think that between the two of us, we really, as we mentioned in the show quite often, believe in a balanced life. And part of that life is not your professional life. So we feel like Florida's the place to be.
So how do you make a decision like this, to take the leap? Well, this is how we did it.
Born and raised in Michigan, both of us. I've lived in a few different states. Courtney's been here her whole life, and we were down on a trip recently and felt that sunshine, you know, going into winter, and we both kind of questioned the fact of what are we doing?
I think Miami Beach in November will do that to you.
Yeah, I think so too. So it just became a joking conversation into something quite a bit more serious through a number of decisions that got made because kind of the chain reaction happened where it seemed like we could sell our house. It seemed like Courtney could retain her job. We did what my dad, Papa Hen, would have called the Ben Franklin close to try to understand, you know, what would be the positives for us to pack up and leave versus what are the positives if we stayed here.
We literally took a piece of paper, drew a line down the middle, and started our list of pros and cons. And when all was said and done, the pros outweighed the cons. Simultaneously, as we're amidst our contemplations, I started noticing other signs. And they were all pointing to Tampa, Clearwater, or the St. Petersburg area. And that's when we decided to go on our covert mission, as Patrick calls it. And while we were on this covert mission, driving around St. Pete, Patrick and I discuss exactly what it is we're looking for.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto the I-275 North ramp.
So what do you think what are your top 5 things that we're going to look for or at this place that we're going to go to next?
Top 5 things?
Yes.
Number 1 is feel, right? It's not like I'm looking for anything. It needs to feel right for us.
In a quarter mile, merge onto I-275 North.
And then we got to make sure the utility is right.
What do you mean by utility?
That we have room for us to both work. We have room for a podcast studio.
Agreed. I feel like, though, if...
And it's view, environment.
From
Continue on I-275 North.
utility, though, I also think if there's a space for us to work outside of our apartment, you know what I mean? Like if there's like a business center or something where we can work.
So, number 1, feel. There's no real other way to describe it other than that. The feel. Does it feel like home? Can we picture us there? Does it fit our vibe? And number 2, utility, meaning space, proximity, and amenities. Remember, I'm going to work from home now, and we're not sure what Patrick's going to do. So we need to be sure the living space we decide on can accommodate both of us working from home for a while. Number 3, the view. That one's self-explanatory. Number 4, environment, meaning the community. And number 5, lifestyle. We love the outdoors, we love the sunshine, and we want to live a balanced life. So as we explore and tour St. Petersburg, we begin our Ben Franklin.
So the wins so far are that we're right in downtown and we can walk everywhere.
In St. Petersburg.
Yeah, and we can walk to the gym, we can walk to CrossFit, we can walk to restaurants, to yoga.
And the people seem real.
Right. The cons are the size and the price and the potential for some of the reviews we read.
Which are that the walls are
Noise.
paper thin and
Yeah.
there's lots of noise.
So that's where we're at. We're exploring. We're still looking for a place to call home, but we do know it's going to be in St. Pete, and we do know that we're making the right decision. We're following our hearts, trusting our instincts, and we're faithful that the good Lord is leading us for some reason to something, and all things and signs are pointing to St. Pete.
So we're going to be taking a road trip from Detroit all the way down to the St. Petersburg area here in the very near future. So there's going to have to be a couple pit stops along the way. So if you happen to be listening and you're someone that might be on that pit stop route, we would love to hear from you. Because maybe we can stop by, have lunch, have dinner, whatever, have a coffee. We'd love to meet you.
Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Be sure to check back next week as we dive into what it means to be less typical in fixed operations, or the service side of the car business. To find all previous episodes, find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or our website. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Doing this will help others find us. 2 items before we sign off. Number 1, please take a moment to share our show with your friends, family, and coworkers. Sharing is caring, and we appreciate your support. Number 2, if you or anyone you know are conducting car sales in a less typical way, please reach out to us. We want to hear your story, and there's a chance you could be featured on an upcoming show. Send me an email so we can connect. My email address is Courtney@belesstypical.com. Last but not least, our theme song is by the one and only Mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. All episode editing and mixing is done by us, a couple of amateurs learning as we go. Behind the scenes.
Thank you for not swishing that water around in your mouth.
Why you wanted me to?
No, you do it just to irritate me. I know you do it. Yes, you do.
I don't do it. It's like subconscious.
No, you like earlier. It was the longest swish I've ever seen. Like longer than any normal person even swishes mouthwash. And all I was thinking was like that water is probably like hot in your mouth.
Stop it.
It's so gross.
How do you clean stuff out of your teeth if you don't do that?
I don't get stuff in my teeth.
Oh, come on.
I don't.
Just have to have normal mouth. Decision process.
And all I do is I think about just how warm it has to be in there, and it just freaks me out.
Gross.
I know. That's why I don't know why you do it. It's so gross to me. And then, so what if you get something out of your teeth? What do? You swallow it. That's
But it's food that you just chew. I mean, what? You just ate it.
I don't know.
Like it's
Freaks me out.